Hi, welcome to our 12-minute conversation on operationally speaking. I am Sergiu Simmel, Principal EOS Implementer at Get Business Momentum.
And I'm Paul Marston, the owner of and CEO of Abenaki Carriers. And more precisely, I am the integrator and visionary at my transportation company, using the EOS Entrepreneurial Operating System for several years now.
And I was the fortunate and highly privileged person to be the EOS implementer for your company for some time now. So today, Paul, we'll be talking about, I have no idea where we're going. And this is just part one of a multi-part series on this topic. So ready to get going?
I'm totally ready. This is fundamental, so this is good stuff here.
If you don't know where you're going, you may end up somewhere else, Zig Ziglar type of, a little one-liner. So it's actually key, not just to know that at the owner or CEO level, but actually to have the entire organization be fully aligned around that knowledge, around that vision. And there's a story that I want to share with you, and I usually share it with my clients and with everybody who's watching this, which is actually a John F. Kennedy story that, in my mind, is almost the epitome of alignment. So the story goes back to first 1961 when JFK made the famous speech where he declared that he wants to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade. Unfortunately, he didn't live to see that accomplished, but of course we just recently celebrated 50 years since that actually happened in 1969. So the question was, this was quite an outrageous type of vision. In fact, if you think about it, and we tend to forget that, in 1961, we were just about 4 years away from the first time ever anyone was in space, and that wasn't even an American. So imagine all of a sudden we set up not only to go into space, but to actually go on the moon. It's like crazy. So the question is, how did we manage to, in fact, accomplish that, not only by the deadline, but before that? In fact, it was only 8 years out. And I think that at least one of the explanations relies on what happened next year. So in 1962, Jack Kennedy visits a NASA location down in Florida. At the time, there were, I think, about 12,000 people working for NASA. And there were about 5,000 people working in this location. So he walks in with the entourage, much less of a Secret Service in those days. Lots of people, thousands of people in this big room. And he notices this guy kind of leaning against the wall, kind of on the other side of the room, kind of propping himself into a broom. So he kind of goes beeline to this guy and goes there and says, "Hi, I'm Jack Kennedy, President of the United States. What's your name?" The guy says his name. So Jack Kennedy asks him, "So what do you do for NASA?" And in a second, the janitor responds, "Oh, I helped NASA put a man on the moon by the end of the decade." So if you can go into an organization of 12,000 people and totally randomly find one guy, even a janitor, who can tell you exactly what the direction and the destination is for the entire organization, boy, that is alignment. And I think that was the secret that actually drove that organization to that level of success. So why was it important to align people at a much smaller, but not too small, organization like Abenaki Carriers?
That's a great story, first of all, and you couldn't be more right. We have employees spread all over New England. So if everyone is not clear on who our ideal customer is and where we're going, then we're not going to be, how effective are we going to be if we're tugging on the rope going two different directions? If my frontline troops don't know the type of customer that we treasure, who is our ideal customer, if they don't know, I thought of this analogy when you were saying that. It's as if you imagine the disaster if you're at Nordstrom's, but your frontline person is used to working at Walmart, or vice versa, if they're at Walmart but they have a Nordstrom's. I mean, just two wonderful, awesome businesses, but yet you have to have the vision all the way to the front line so that you can get maximum results.
Exactly. So that, traditionally is accomplished through this thing called a strategic plan. And, Paul, what's the one thing that unites all strategic plans that have ever been written?
They occupy a place on a dusty shelf somewhere.
Exactly. And not because there is no great material. I mean, I have to tell you, some of those things are brilliant, and totally apropos. The problem is there are these thick documents that even the executive team doesn't get them. Never mind, the 120 people in the organization. What actually was one of the most brilliant things that Gino Wickman, the creator of the Entrepreneurial Operating System, or EOS, came up with was the idea that the strategic plan, so to speak, needs to be primarily a communication vehicle, not just a big thing. So that's basically a call for simplicity. And well, he boiled it down literally to answering exactly 8 questions on the premise that, you can take an organization anywhere between, say, 10 people to, say, 500 people, and you can get these 500 people or 10 people or 120 people on the same page as to the answers to 8 questions. Less than that will be too simplified. More than that will be starting to get harder to assimilate, to digest by everybody. And what we do is that we capture the answers on this one sheet of paper called the Vision Traction Organizer, right? So we start literally by aligning the leadership team around that. Once the leadership team was all on the same page, and that's the work that we started doing initially, and of course it continues because that's a live document, right? How hard was it, in your experience at Abenaki, to start lining up, the next level of managers and ultimately everybody in your organization?
Once you have the document, once you've answered the questions, it's not hard at all, because then I could share it, right? So as a leader, as an entrepreneur, I know a grand total of squat about doing this properly on my own. I can read 100 books, I can get 100 different answers. But with EOS, I got a great set of answers, a proven set of answers, a proven set of questions. Now I can answer those questions, feel like my vision, not my vision, the vision of the leadership team is really is clear on that one-page document, simple, no fine print. Now I can take that, print it, put it in front of somebody. I can answer, and all it does is answer the who, what, where, and why. Mm-hmm. And now it's very easy for me as a leader to share it, for us to all be on the same page. Who are we? Meaning, who are we looking to hire? Who are we looking to promote? What type of person, fits our profile? Who should be on our team? What is it we're coming together to do? Where are we going? Who are we taking with us? I just think it's such a great document. It asks just such powerful why questions. And again, I'm used to running trucks and restaurants and golf courses. I'm not an expert on organizational development. I'll leave that up to you guys. When I saw EOS and answered these questions and gave me the map, I'm buying in, because now that's not my expertise. I can fill it out for sure.
What I do know is that it doesn't take just a one shot to show this to somebody and have everybody being totally aligned. How often do you do this?
So we meet quarterly, and we have an annual, and then the 3 other times a year that we meet as a leadership team, and we look at it, and we go through it and make sure it's right. Certain things will really never change, our core values and so forth, but sometimes there's tweaking. And then it's my job as a leader to share it with the rest of the company. and get out in front of them and go through. Hey, look, this is where we're going. And I want my, the front, because our money is spent on the front lines. Our money is saved and our revenue is made on the front lines. It isn't made up in some office somewhere. So if we're not fully aligned with where we're going, then we're missing great opportunities.
So, I mean, a good chunk of your staff are actually truck drivers being out there in England in various places. How do you get this message to all of them?
Go see them for the most part. We'll record it. We'll do it. We try to hit them 4 or 5 different ways. We'll do it. I'll do it here in the main office. We'll record it. We'll make it available over the internet. Then I'll go and give various presentations, and we do the best we can to get in front of them a couple times a year with the message.
Anything else to add, Paul?
Well, I'd like to say the stuff is simple, not easy. So my thought is that this is so super important to moving an organization forward. That the opportunity to work with a coach, start on third base, not have to learn all the do's and don'ts, know how to run your business. You know that. So hire a coach to implement these simple but not easy strategies, and you're going to have a great vision for your whole company.
Well, thank you so much for your endorsement, Paul. And of course, for those of you who are watching this, if you want to reach out to me, you can reach me at 617-731-3132, or you can email me at sss@getbusinessmomentum.com.
Thank you, Serge. Thank you for letting me come on the air today. And thank you for all the work you've done with our company, because we certainly wouldn't be where we are today without you.
Well, I really appreciate those words. They are very kind words. So I wish everybody a great week, and thank you, Paul, for taking the time.